Hi, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be going over all the possible ways realistically that you can farm gold. And I'll give you guys my opinions as well, like my personal favorites and how I always have max gold. It's really not that hard, but I thought I'd just dedicate a video just compiling every possible way and some other ways that you can like save up your gold essentially by buying some items and you can just sell them later. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join Discord if you guys haven't. I appreciate everyone that joins the Discord. We're like around 1.3, almost 1.3k members, and then don't forget to subscribe. We're really close to 5k. I'm doing my best with these videos and trying to push out when it comes to all these content videos, so appreciate all the love and support, and just leave a comment as well. It does help out with the algorithm. So yeah, but when I go over all the different strategies for farming gold, they're not going to be placed in any order. It's just the way that I've written them down, and I'll give you guys opinions along the way. So to start off, I'm going to go over the classic farm that everyone used. Even I used when I first started my account, was farm Halfang. Halfang's over here. He's in his little sigil over here in Vestralton. I think that's how you say it. But essentially to get here, you just go to Grizzleheim, you take the boat to Wintertusk, and then you just come over here. It's kind of just straightforward. Now Halfang has been literally one of the OG farms where you can just get a bunch of gear, sell to the bazaar. But personally, you're looking for one specific item, which is the Cow Pro Amulet. Now the Cow Pro Amulet sells for quite a lot in the bazaar, so people just used to just genuinely farm him. Now you can still do that. There's nothing bad about that. It's just some options that I'm giving you. Now the Cow Pro Amulet, it's pretty straightforward. You just get the amulet, sell it. He has a bunch of other stuff in his loot pool, but specifically you are targeting the Cow Pro Amulet, and that's how you get a good amount of income of gold. It's good for just starting off if you're new to the game. It's something that you can do. I thought I'd do one quick run just to show you guys how easy this is. Like nowadays, you can just AoE him and he's basically dead. And you might get some reagents and some stuff that you can just realistically just sell. But that's just the TLDR of Halfang. That's really all you're looking for, is that amulet. Now there's another dungeon as well that's in this area, and you fight a boss called Asrik. It's literally not too far away from Halfang. You just go down the little tree trunk and you come all the way back over here, and he's just kind of just chilling here in his little cave. Now this is another possible gold source that you can do as a player, and Asrik drops a specific item that you're going to be searching for as well. It's the Dragon Shield Amulets. Now this was always a toss-up back in the day. Would you rather farm Asrik or would you rather farm Halfang? And there was always like little debates here and there, and I remember this all the time that people would always talk about. And Asrik is still pretty good to farm if you want to, right? He does give you those other items that you can sell in the bazaar, but you're specifically, like, just like how Halfang is, you're specifically searching for that amulet, which is the Dragon Shield amulet. It sells for quite a bit in the bazaar, and that's just how you get gold. And just like that, I'm gonna do one quick run, and you can see that he's a myth boss, and usually nowadays it's a breeze. I know you're probably looking at this video mainly tailored towards like if you're a low level player, but still I'm giving you guys more options in this video as well. And just like that, it's a no-brainer. My Tempest just essentially just kills him, and you just get some loot that you're more likely going to sell. You're not going to keep any of this, but hey, you're going to sell it anyways. Now we can move on to the next source of farming gold, which is Secret Tunnel in Imperia. To get here, you just go to Imperia, you go to Aerial Jungle, and then you come specifically over here, and you should see a dungeon called Secret Tunnel next to these mobs. Now, Secret Tunnel is still an efficient way of farming gold. Now, you aren't farming gold, just specifically gold. You're farming a bunch of items, which you guys will see in the background. These guys are notable for dropping a bunch of jewels, which a lot of people still to this day are trying to farm, as well as getting some squid ink, because some people need the squid ink to actually craft and progress in their whole crafting quest, you know? So it's still a viable spot, don't get me wrong. So it's an option that you can do. That's why this video compiles everything. So if you want to farm gold, you want to farm some jewels as well as some other things like snacks and stuff like that. Well, not really snacks, but I guess plants. You can just use all that. Even reagents, you can use all that, and then you can sell the excess reagents if you want to. It's not something I advise, but if you're really down bad for gold, it's an option that you can do, and as well as selling the other items, like the other various items you get from Secret Tunnel. So that's why it's another option on this list. So definitely give Secret Tunnel a try, and you guys let me know what you think. Another place that we can talk about is in Caramel. Now there's this side quest that you have to do in Caramel to unlock this dungeon called Ratings Board. Now what Ratings Board is, it essentially gives you 18k gold per dungeon completion. Now keep in mind that is per dungeon completion. So you have to actually finish the entire dungeon, not just, you know, only do the first 2 fights and that's it. It consists of 3 fights, 3 separate fights. And on the last fight you do have a boss. It doesn't have any cheats or anything like that. But you can use this as a way of farming gold too. Some people do it. Some people have this and another spot that I will be talking about. That always is a toss up between players. So you can do Caramel Ratings Board, but like I said, you do have to unlock this dungeon. It is specifically in Caramel City. It's right here, Goodwill Ambassador, and you can do it and you can farm it. Give you guys itself a try, and you can get some jewels as well, which some people were telling me about, but you can also get some gear. This is just an option as I stated, so we'll go through all the other different options as well. So you can do this if you like to, but just keep in mind though, you do get 18k gold per completion. That's like the whole highlight of this, but as stated, you can just sell all the gear from here as well if that's something you want to do. Another spot that we're going to be talking about is in Lemuria, specifically in the heap. You can just take one of the teleporters and come here, and you want to be in this specific area. And you'll see that there's a lot of mobs that are called the Moo Crew. Now, Moo Crew, what they drop is Supreme Gear, and you can sell that for quite a bit in the bazaar, and some people still to this day even use the decks. So it's an option for you guys if you want to just keep some of the decks, but as well as sell all the Supreme Gear that you get from them. So it's an option as well. They don't really give like good drop rate of gold per se, but it's mainly that gear is what sells for a lot in the bazaar. Now you're actually not going to be using most of the Supreme Gear. It's mainly just like some niche items that you will be like, okay, I want to keep some of this, such as like the decks and maybe some other pieces, right? Like the notable ones. So Moo Crew is on there as an option if you guys want to farm these guys. It's something that you can do as well. The next spot that we're talking about is in Mirage. Now this is specifically in Irem Palace. Now Irem Palace has the Djinni Guards that you can farm for a hefty amount of gold. You can get gear from here that you can sell. You can get jewels. You can get even couch potatoes and Evo magma peas. They're a really good source of gold and honestly really high recommendation that you guys can farm these. Now you guys will see when I go to the next recommendation of why I don't farm these mobs. But you can farm these. This is like what I would do for most like casual people. It's something that you can easily do. But as I stated, they give you plentiful jewels that you can sell. And you can sell jewels now in the bazaar. Keep that in mind. And you can as well as get gear. You can sell all that gear. You're not going to keep none of the gear because it's just none of it's relevant. But you are getting couch potatoes and evil magma piece at the same time. So definitely it's one good of a spot to farm at. Now the last thing I want to include about farming gold, or just an easy way of getting gold, is just genuinely farming. Now this is my recommendation because this is what I do. I do this on 7 characters. I have 4 separate plots and I don't realistically have to go out my way and go farm any of the mobs. Now this is just what I do, and I even use the snacks and I sell the snacks as well. You get mega snacks. You can sell the treasure cards that you get from these guys. It's just up to you. This is just what I do, and this is just my personal preference. Now these are all the options that you can get from gold from, right? You would want to specifically garden couch potatoes, in my opinion, though, not evil magma peas. I guess you can still garden them, which I've already stated in my seed guide. If you guys will pop up on screen, but you can do that as well. That will tell you about all the best seeds that you should keep in Wizard101. Now there are some options, I guess honorable mentions with the new update. Now with the new recent update to the bazaar, I know a lot of people are talking about the bazaar controversy, so we're just going to ignore that a little bit in this video. But if you are down bad, you can sell jewels. Jewels is such an easy way with the whole new bazaar mechanic where you can sell jewels now. You can get some solid gold. So if you're farming the guards, as I stated earlier, you get so many jewels. Same thing as rating boards in Secret Tunnel. You can just use all these jewels and just sell them in the bazaar and get some easy source. Now I don't have any sword pins, power pins, shield pins on me, but I highly recommend that you sell your shield pins or your sword pins or your power pins that you're just casually getting from farming. There's not like a specific jewel that I would be like, okay, you should sell this, sell that. But from what I've been hearing is flat res jewels that you can buy in Salanopolis, or just get from farming, they've been selling around for 20k in the bazaar. Now you can see that, look, just seeing this specific jewel, you can see the cost of it. So just think about how much it is just for selling it. So selling your square jewels in the bazaar, don't feed them to your pet, but sell them specifically in the bazaar, as long as with your other jewels that you have in your backpack that you just don't care about. Like, people have plenty of these flat damage jewels, nobody's using them, they're not meta. Same thing as with some of the pierce jewels or crit jewels specifically. If you have them, sell them in the bazaar. Just be careful with like selling certain jewels, like energy jewels or like really high health jewels, because you can't really farm those. I mean, you could farm the health jewels but not the energy jewels, so be wary on that. But that's what I would do as another source of gold. As you can see, people are already selling some jewels that they don't even realize about how much value they have in the bazaar, right? So sell your sword pins, sell your accuracy pins, sell your shield pins, sell your flat res jewels, specifically flat res, and then as well as, if you want to, you can sell some of your triangle jewels that you just don't care about, like lower accuracy ones. Sell some circle jewels, and as well as tier jewels, right? So when you're farming all those mobs and stuff like that, do not feed them to your pet though. Instead, go to the bazaar and specifically sell them for even more gold. It is something I highly recommend. Now, another possible thing you can do to get gold is selling reagents. Now, you can see that I have multiple thousands. I even have plenty in my bank. But now, is this something I recommend? I'm gonna be honest, I don't recommend that. Reason being is because reagents are so valuable in my opinion, right? You're always gonna need them from crafting or even future recipes, and some of these are very annoying to get. So instead of just selling them in the bazaar because you're really down bad for gold, honestly, I would keep your reagents. Now, if it's like something last minute and you're like forced to sell your reagents, sure, go for it. But I highly do not recommend doing that. But in the premise of this video, I am including it as an option. Another two things that you can sell as well, a couple things, right, that you can sell from your couch potatoes for gold is your killer tomatoes, shanta puddings, jar jelly beans, and golden pizza. These are all things that are dropped from couch potatoes, and you can sell them at the bazaar for a good amount of gold as well, which is what I do. Now, keep in mind though, if you're in the early stages of the game, I don't recommend selling these snacks because you can use them for your pet making strategies. Now, if you don't really care about them, honestly, just sell them in the bazaar. That's what I do, and that's how I get my gold. But that is something I wanted to include as well. And keep in mind, couch potatoes also give you empowers, and empowers you can sell in the bazaar as well. After a while, someone sold some empowers, so it's a good way of just showing this. But you can sell your empowers as well. You can stockpile them on another character, which I do, is I have an alt account that stores a lot of empowers, which I've talked about before in a video. I just don't remember which video. But you can stockpile a bunch of empowers, or you can just sell them as well. And basically what I do is just stockpile them on my alt, and then if I ever need them on any of my characters, I just hop on my alt, trade them to my main character, or Anthony Thunder in this example, and I'll just sell them for gold. It's something that you can do as well, and couch potatoes drop it pretty often. Now that we've gone over all the ways of getting gold, like the proper ways of getting gold, what do you do if you have too much gold? Now, a no-brainer one, which I shouldn't need to include, but is just go make a pet. You can make a pet, you'll use a lot of your gold. Instance, today I made a pet for a video that I'm working on, and I made a hamster that has all damage and double pierce. Now, I wasted a lot of gold, so that's why I'm not at max gold currently. So that's like one easy way of getting rid of excess gold. Now, another thing you can do to get rid of some gold is just buying empowers in the bazaar. So it's a good way of selling them, but you can stockpile them as well if you wanted to. So buy yourself some empowers. If you're really at max gold and don't know what to do, buy yourself some empowers. Now, if you're really down bad and there's no empowers in the shop, what I sometimes do is I go over to the ice school and I buy myself some frozen armors. I don't think there's some frozen armors as well. So frozen armors, I wouldn't treat them as high value as empowers, but if you're really down bad, you're like, I need to get rid of my gold, frozen armors are your second best option in my opinion. Now, as I was talking about earlier, how you can sell your snacks that you get from couch potatoes, now you can do the opposite. If you're at max gold and you don't know what to buy killer tomatoes, buy shanta puddings, buy golden pizzas, jar of jelly beans. Instead, stockpile the snacks, so then if you ever want to sell them for gold later, you can do that as well. Same thing vice versa. Just because you're selling them in the bazaar, that doesn't mean you can buy other people's and stockpile them yourself if you have too much gold. It's something that I do all the time. Now, another way that you can stockpile your gold is by going Chrysalis and going specifically to the silent market. And you should see a vendor over here called Brendan. And now what Brendan does sell you is specifically a moon blade razor. Now, yes, it does cost 236k, but it's an easy way of stockpiling your gold, because if you sell this in the bazaar, now of course this depends on how many are in the bazaar, but they can sell for around 120k. So you are spending 236, but you can go sell it later on down the line to get 118 or like 120k essentially. It's something that you can do as well if you want to just like stockpile some gold on the side. You have too much excess gold and you just want to spend it. This is an option as well. Just keep in mind though, don't sell it back to him, but sell it back in the bazaar to get some gold back. One of the other options that you can do is go to Selenopolis. Selenopolis has these vendors, of course, but there's specifically this jewel vendor that you can buy jewels from, of course. What you can do is buy specifically some flat res jewels, which you can see, I believe, on the later pages right here, and it cost you around 40k, right? Now, if you wanted to, you can stockpile on these and then sell them in the bazaar for 20k. Now, this is another option of what you could do, is just have like a jewel vault and just stockpile a bunch of these, and then when you're down bad on gold, you can sell it for gold. It's just an additional option, just because, like I said, I'm giving you guys multiple different options and not just giving you just one way of doing everything. Now, the final thing I want to include is just kind of like an honorable mention. It's not something I do, right? And people really wanted me to include this. But if you go to the crown shop and you look up at the packs, and I believe it's specifically the pet booster packs, and you can get yourself a pet crumb pack. Now, these pet crumb packs you can buy with gold. Now, there's a reason why people do this. It's not something I do, but as I want to state, but let's say you buy one for gold, right? Which you'll do for the purpose of the video. You get yourself a bunch of breadcrumb items, right? Now, what people do, right? For example, we have our pet little peanut. What you can do is you go to the pet crumbs, or the breadcrumbs, I mean, and you feed it to your pet. Now, this will give you your pet XP. So if you wanted to, you can just sit here and spam this for however long. Now, it's not going to be a guarantee amount of XP every time, as you can see, but it's just something that people do. Now, I'm only adding this based upon request. It's something, as I said, I didn't even want to include in this video, but I wanted to essentially go through all the bases. So if that's something you really want to do and you want to just use your gold and just sit there, keep in mind you're only getting 1 XP per. That's a lot of XP that you're gonna have to do, and a lot of feeding you're gonna have to do. It will take you a while, but it's, as I said, that's like a last resort. Like, it's something I wouldn't even do. I don't even do it. But that is basically it for this video. I went over all the possible best ways of farming gold and some options where if you have too much excess gold, you can kind of just store it on the side. Now, if you were to ask me what would I do, right, what would you do, Almond? Personally, I garden all the time, right? Now, I know you're probably watching this video because you don't have gardens. Gardening is for me the best way. Now, if I wasn't like into the whole garden situation, right, I would honestly just go farm the Djinni Guards in Mirage. That is a hefty source, or a secret tunnel, or a ratings board. They're all neck and neck. It just comes down to what you want to do. Now, if you need, like I said, squid ink and stuff like that, secret tunnels are no-brainer. Now, if you want specifically some jewels, but you always want to guarantee 18k, do ratings board. But I feel like the Djinni Guards are better because, as well as you're getting jewels you can sell, you're getting gear, right? And you're specifically selling these jewels in the bazaar. I want you guys to keep in mind, you're selling these jewels in the bazaar, not feeding them to your pet. But as well as you're using couch potatoes and evil magma peas from these guys. Like, you're going to be getting them from them as well, but you can build your own garden at the same time. So it's a solid way of doing this. So, but I still wanted to include all the other options because, hey, that's the whole point of this video. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Spread it around. Definitely. It kind of went over all the different bases of where you should farm gold and where some possible options you can do for just spending some of your gold if you wanted to just stockpile it on the side for your own endeavors. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. It does help out the channel quite a bit, and I appreciate everyone that's been enjoying these videos for the past couple days, because I wanted to just make sure I have a lot of guides on the channel, because people always ask me these little things. So I wanted to just make complete guides for every aspect of the game. And also remember, leave a comment. It does help out with the algorithm. It can literally be anything, as well as joining the Discord. I want to get the Discord to around 1.3k members, 1.5. So if you guys haven't, definitely join in the Discord. There's plenty of guides in there as well. But that is it for me, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.